I originally recorded these videos in November and December of 2016 before I started using mods. I thought they might be useful for people who still don't use mods, whether it's because of game style, wanting to play the game the way it was meant to be, that sort of thing. And also just an interesting look back at what was possible before we built with mods. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy. Hello everyone. This is Ed, aka Gamer Gramps, bringing you up to Tenpines Bluff. I'd like to show you around here a little bit and show you what I've built. Still, at this point, no mods being used, and this was built on the Xbox One. So, for those who know, Tenpines Bluff, first of all, it's a relatively small area, and secondly, it just has a ton of elevation changes, which make it a real pain in the butt to build at. But using the concrete, I was able to kind of build everything up the way I needed to. Now, a few things we've got here, and that is we do have a rolling door, which can easily be lowered or raised. So, makes it pretty quickly defensible. We also have a guard tower straight up above it. And you can see this is actually a slight difference from the guard towers that I've built at Sanctuary, because it is all based on this scaffolding. So, just straight up scaffolding and just a couple of the guard posts that were just rug glitched in place. We've got a guard up here at all times, and of course, our siren, which can be activated right here, no problem. Other than that, you'll also notice that I have used the scaffolding almost exclusively for all of the turrets. Turret emplacements were very something I really wanted to do, but I wanted to get away from having to build these big, thick walls to place everything on top of. So it just made sense that when I built this, which was just after scaffolding kind of came out, that I could just place the turrets right up on top of the scaffolding, and it would make it very simple to defend. Now, we do have a few things that are placed right on the walls, but usually those are on interior corners where I can put some of those kind of circular, sort of quarter circle floors up there in order to place the turrets on. And so we'll just kind of walk around real quick on the outside and give you an idea of the defenses. Tenpines Bluff is able to pretty easily take care of itself. There's no issues there. This is the original house that was at Tenpines Bluff, and I just turned this into an animal area. It's still relatively well defended. There are several turrets around it. Yes, a Brahmin could, of course, get slaughtered by something that is out here. However, the building itself, because of the way that it sits, it's very hard to glitch anything in. And also the walls, the size, the length of the walls and those sorts of things. Basically, it's one full-size wall and then one half-size wall. And even then, it's not exactly correct. So it would make it very difficult to build anything decent out of this structure. So I just left it outside of the walls. And by doing so, you put the Brahmin out here. Now the Brahmin's not bothering people, and there's no real issues there. So if we head back around, you can see the walls are very well built up, and where necessary due to the terrain elevation changes, the walls also change in elevation. So let's head back in and we'll just kind of take a look at stuff. Now, when I have built my settlements, one of the rules that I decided on early was that the settlers who are already there, whatever they have, I'm not going to take that away from them. And if at all possible, I will try to make their lives a little better. So in this case, they still have their beds. This is still their original shack. I haven't done anything else with it. except for I did give them a ceiling fan so that it can keep them nice and cool. And, you know, it's their place. So thank you for letting me turn it into a settlement and invite more people here. Because of that, I'm not going to mess with your stuff. So obviously they now have access to electricity and they've got a ceiling fan, and that has made life a little bit better for them. Over here we have our generator house. Basically it's just our fusion generator. Also stolen from a nearby building. I can't remember the name, or like where the building was or anything like that, but someplace relatively close where we could transport it. Now, this place makes pretty extensive use of these rail cars, and let me show you why. Like I said, I try to keep things very lore friendly, and in an effort to do that, I try to think things through from the perspective of the settlers. So, as I look around here, strangely enough, you come right here, what do you know? There's a bunch of rail cars. They're right there, and our settlement is right there. So this is not a very far distance to drag a rail car. Now, I've seen some people use rail cars in Sanctuary and several other places, but to me, if you look at the map, and I know it's a little difficult to see because I'm still using the vanilla map, but if you go to Tenpines Bluff, right here, you can see the railroad coming down through, and if you sort of follow that railroad, sorry, it's actually right here. It's, like I said, it's a little bit difficult to make out, but for me, I would think that the places that should be able to use the rail cars would be like Starlight Drive-In. It's relatively close to the railroad. Another one would be Grey Garden. Could easily use it. I mean, it's right there. Oberlin Station, that's a no-brainer. And let's see what else we've got here. Yeah, really nothing too close to that area. I didn't think this through ahead of time, guys. Sorry if it's a little bit boring looking this over, but I swear I'm getting to a point. So, that's kind of my idea, is that if you're relatively close to a railroad, or to where rail cars might be, then by all means, you know, use these things. But to think that someone would not only detach these, I mean, for me, my outlook on this is you would see someone who would cut that rail car into 3 or 4 sections and bring it over here, and you'd set up a block and tackle on, let's say, this rock outpost right here, and you would drag it up here, and then 2 or 3 men in power armor would drag it up to the settlement, and once it was in place in the settlement, they could weld it back together and turn it into these housing units. So that's my idea. I think that in order to stay friendly to the lore, you really kind of need to think about where things are coming from and whether it would be very realistic to get them to that area. So here, like I said, almost a no-brainer. It would be very simple for a determined group of people with a block and tackle or some other form of machinery to get these up and in place. So that's what we've done. So let's go ahead and take a walk through some of these. This is the first one that I built. It's very simple. And you can see there's just, you know, these 4 beds. Not much to it, really. It does have a door, so they've got some privacy. And then it's got this little deck that they can just kind of hang out on. It is a covered deck, which is, you know, kind of a nice little area. Then if we head down here for a moment, we'll jump up to one of the other buildings. This one actually has two of the rail cars set together. And this one, you can see it's gone right back to what I've done in Sanctuary. Everybody has a footlocker and a bed. And then there's this central kind of living area. And what I did was just tried to glitch in sort of a shack right here to allow people to spend some time together, have a little bit of light, but still make sure that it's covered so that they can do what they need to do in relative comfort. And then, hey, what do you know? We've got another set of beds. Again, with another door that can be closed. So, I really like that. Just the way that it's set up. I just think it's got a good look to it, a good feel to it. Next, we'll look at our Minuteman Ready Room for Tenpines Bluff. And here it is. This is a much smaller Ready Room. Tenpines Bluff is a relatively small settlement. But as we step inside, you can see that we have, restricted area, employees only. This door would normally be locked if a Minuteman were not inside. And you come inside and they've got these two nice little bunks with some beds with some guns and their foot lockers. They've got a desk to sit at. Oh, actually, I should have a telephone placed here so that they have telephone communications with the other outposts. And then, of course, yeah, sure, their guns over there are nice. But what if you need a little extra? Well, then you've got this minigun. And you've got this wooden crate with some ammo. You've got another short laser rifle. The other rifle is probably currently being used by one of the Minutemen. And then, of course, you have the power armor here ready to go if necessary to defend the settlement. That's also what the fusion cores are here for. So, it's a nice little build. I really kind of like this. The way that this Minuteman Ready Room is set up. Kind of up and off the ground and everything. The other thing I like is how... Actually, I should probably take that one off, but the rest of them, you can see that it's well supported. I really try to make sure that there are supports that show why things are being held up. So over here, I've got the two last things I want to show you, and I'll show you the difference here. So on the first one, I have set up the supports so you can see what's holding this up. Yes, of course, it's attached over on the other side, but there's also some supports that are holding it in place. On this one, there's no supports, and you can see that it just kind of, as you walk towards it, just kind of screams to you, yeah, well, what's going on there? How is that being held up? So I don't like that, and I do try to use supports, which of course is only going to be helped by the mods, because the mods will allow me to do a lot of other things, including use supports that are currently not in the game for me. So the last thing I want to show you is these two buildings. Basically, because I was able to use the rail cars here, and these are just about the perfect size to do this with. So on this one, we have created a bathroom. This is the actual bathing room, and here's our bathtub. And it's just very simple to glitch in one of these small walls and glitch in one of the doors, and you can see that somebody can go in there and bathe and have their privacy. It's not a problem. Then if you step over one, we also did the same thing for the restroom. You'll notice this looks a lot like the one in Sanctuary. It's opposite because the sink is on the other side, but other than that, it is very similar, and it's just got a very nice look to it. Very simple and easy to use, and just allows people to have a little bit of privacy here. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this little walkthrough, and if you've enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a like. If you've enjoyed several of my videos, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I'll keep trying to make more content like this and actually better than this as I move on. So I really appreciate you watching the video.